This is your cut, and I'm coming to get mine.
Addiction is a powerful drug, ain't it?
Should have killed this crackhead ass when we had a chance.
But I beat my addiction.
I followed y'all from the party so we can talk.
What? This don't mean ain't nothing.
Man, please hear me out.
Get the here.
We're a legend.
A legend?
Como Escobar.
Surviving Mexico changed me and T forever. Even though it led us to being on different paths, I knew the old dude was right about me. The only way to fulfill my destiny was to graduate to the next level and make the world my.
Now, this is just my opinion, but I think Meech and Terry gotta let B Mickey back into BMF. I think Meech and Terry gotta let B Mickey get back down with them again and let him join BMF after this episode. Because if it wasn't for B Mickey, Meech and Terry would be dead, bruh. They would be dead. Lamar had Meech and Terry pinned down in this episode with nowhere to go. Lamar literally had the kill shot on Meech and Terry in this episode. And if it wasn't for B Mickey following Meech and Terry in this episode and popping up on them and de-escalating this Lamar situation for them for now because they keep leaving Lamar alive knowing good and goddamn well Lamar don't like them and he wants them dead by any means necessary, Meech and Terry would be dead, bruh. Meech and Terry would be dead. So not like that. But with B Mickey coming through for Meech and Terry in this episode, I feel it's only right that Meech and Terry let B Mickey back into the organization, bruh. That's just me. But what's the deal with it, YouTube? What's good with y'all? What's up with everybody? I go by the name of DC, and in today's video, I'm going to be talking about BMF Season 4, Episode 1, and I'm going to be breaking down the episode for y'all and let y'all know how I felt about the episode, as well as what I disliked about the episode and break this episode down for y'all. But before I do that, if you're coming across my channel for the first time, and you like BMF content like me, hit the post bell notification button to get updated to all content I post on my channel. Hit the like button to help the video get recommended across the algorithm. And if you have any thoughts and comments that you want to leave them all down below in the comment section. Now, first things first, shout out to whoever wrote this episode. Shout out to whoever wrote this episode and directed this episode. Because this episode was fire, bro. This was a great episode. To me, this episode gave off the Season 1 and Season 2 vibes. Like, I don't know if it was the cinematography or the writing in this episode, but this episode gave off the Season 1 and Season 2 vibes to me. Like, this episode reminded me of Season 1 and Season 2 a lot. And from watching this episode, it seems like Season 4 is about to give a lot of the Season 1 and Season 2 vibes to me. Especially with Lamar and B Mickey returning in this episode, I feel like Season 4 is about to give off a lot of the Season 1 and Season 2 vibes. But this still was a great episode at the end of the day. This still was a great episode. Shout out to B Mickey in this episode for coming through for Meech and Terry and shooting Lamar. Shout out to him. Because I really just don't understand why Meech and Terry thought it would be a good idea to turn Lamar into a crackhead, bruh. Like, I don't know why they thought that would be a good idea, like Lamar wouldn't come back at some point in the future and seek revenge against them. And that's exactly what happened in this episode. Lamar popped up on Meech and Terry in this episode and tried to take him out. And while I'm already mentioning Lamar, I'm going to just go ahead and break this episode down for y'all and give y'all my recap to episode 1. So going into BMF, we knew as the fans of BMF that Lamar was going to be making his return in Season 4. And that's what happened in this episode. Lamar made his return in episode 1. And we found out in this episode, as well as from the exclusive clip that they released a couple of weeks ago about Lamar making his return, that Lamar was in rehab for 3 months. We found out in this episode that Lamar was court ordered to go to rehab for 3 months. And while in rehab, Lamar was able to overcome his drug addiction and finally get cleaned in this episode. And the moment he got out of rehab, he went to go look for Meech and Terry. The moment he stepped out of that rehab center, he went to go hunt down Meech and Terry. And he caught Meech and Terry slipping towards the end of the episode and tried to take them out. And like I said earlier in the video, if it wasn't for B Mickey popping up and following Meech and Terry would be gone, bruh. They would be gone. Ain't no way Lamar was just going to let Meech and Terry slide, bruh. He wasn't about to let them slide. Lamar was not about to just let them walk away and let them get away with turning him into a crackhead, bruh. He was not about to let that happen. And if B Mickey didn't show up, I could almost be certain that Lamar would have took out Meech and Terry. And like I said in the video I did about BMF where I was breaking down the exclusive clips from Season 4 leading up to this episode, as well as what I said earlier in the video, I don't understand why Meech and Terry thought it would be a good idea to not kill Lamar and turn him into a crackhead after all the issues he's caused for them throughout Seasons 1 and Season 2. Like, I don't know why they thought that was just a good idea. Like, I'm honestly not mad at Lamar for seeking revenge against Meech and Terry in this episode. Like, it's their fault that he's still alive in the first place. It's their fault. They want to keep leaving Lamar alive, letting him walk around free through Detroit like he ain't a problem. Like, it's their fault Lamar is still alive, bro. It's their fault. I can't be mad at Lamar seeking revenge against Meech and Terry. I would have did the same thing if they would have turned me to a crackhead. But I am expecting Lamar to be back for revenge in this next upcoming episode, as well as throughout season 4. I'm definitely expecting that. I'm pretty sure in episode 2, he might pop up on his cousin Al. Lamar's cousin Alvin is going to be making a return in this next upcoming season as well. So I'm expecting Lamar to do like he always done throughout the first 2 seasons of BMF and go seek help from his cousin Alvin. And I do believe once Lamar healed from these gunshot wounds that he suffered in this episode, he gonna be right back on the hunt for Meech and Terry throughout season 4 and try to take them out. As well as B. Mickey. I definitely believe he gonna seek revenge against B. Mickey too for taking a shot at him. And speaking of B. Mickey, we saw B. Mickey make his return in this episode as well. We all know going into this next upcoming season that B. Mickey was going to be making a return in season 4. And we saw B. Mickey make his return in this episode when he popped up on Meech and Terry at Nicole's graduation party. And while he was at the graduation party, he introduced Meech and Terry to his new girlfriend and his daughter. We got the introduction to B. Mickey's new family in this episode. And we also found out in this episode as well that B. Mickey's daughter has an upcoming surgery coming up soon, letting it be known to us that B. Mickey daughter is going through some health issues. And Meech and Terry was still being standoffish towards B. Mickey, bro. They wasn't trying to hear anything he had to say, which is expected. We all know the last time Meech and Terry saw B. Mickey was in the season 2 finale after they kicked him out of the BMF organization and they ain't seen him since. So it was expected for them to be standoffish towards B. Mickey. I'm not surprised that they wasn't trying to have a conversation with B. Mickey in this episode. But B. Mickey was adamant about having a conversation with Meech and Terry in this episode. So after Meech and Terry left Nicole's party, B. Mickey followed Meech and Terry after they left Nicole's graduation party to try to have a conversation with him again. And B. Mickey ended up running into the crossfire of Lamar shooting at Meech and Terry. And he popped Lamar twice in his shoulders like I said earlier in the video. And even after B. Mickey risked his own goddamn life, when he didn't have to, because not like that, B. Mickey didn't have to follow Meech and Terry after they left Nicole's graduation party. He didn't have to do all that. But like I said, B. Mickey risked his own goddamn life and popped Lamar his shoulders to save their life because they didn't take out Lamar and decided to turn him into a crackhead. Like, Meech and Terry gotta have a conversation with B. Mickey now. They got to. With him coming through for Meech and Terry in this episode, I feel like it's only right they hear him out and hear what he gotta say. And I'm expecting them to hear him out on what he gotta say. I believe Terry and B. Mickey is going to have a conversation with each other in episode 2 because Meech did let it be known to Terry and B. Mickey that he was going back to Atlanta. So with Terry still being out of Detroit, I believe in episode 2 we will see B. Mickey and Terry have a conversation with each other. Now moving on to Meech, Terry, and Jay Pusha. In this episode we saw Terry and Jay Pusha having issues with each other due to Jay Pusha not paying Terry his money within the last 6 months. Jay Pusha been going through Duffy out in Atlanta to get his product instead of hitting up Terry. And I understand the reasoning behind Jay Pusha not wanting to pay Terry the money because he don't know Terry like that and he only deal with Meech. But for Jay Pusha to be on the phone buying jewelry, spending money, knowing good and goddamn well Terry is trying to get his money back from him, that was messed up. Like, Jay Pusha wrong as hell for that, bruh. If I'm Terry, I would have been irritated too. I would have been irritated at Jay Pusha. Like, not like that, but Jay Pusha was low-key being irritated throughout the episode, bruh. Like, I get it. And he only deals with Meech, but at the same time, he could have communicated that a little bit better with Terry. So with Jay Pusha constantly being on BS about paying Terry his money, Terry decided to confront Jay Pusha in this episode when Jay Pusha randomly decided to come to Detroit in this episode. Because Terry was about to kidnap Jay Pusha, bro. He was about to get ready to send Sterling Black and Hoops out there to St. Louis to kidnap him and bring him to Detroit. But Jay Pusha randomly decided to pop up in this episode, so Terry ain't have to do all that. And as Terry was about to get ready to beat the brakes off of Jay Pusha, Meech shows up at Terry's restaurant before Terry was able to put hands on Jay Pusha. And come to find out, Jay Pusha paid Meech the money that Terry was trying to get from Jay Pusha throughout the episode, and that's the reason why Jay Pusha came to Detroit, which pissed Terry off, and Terry called out Meech for intervening in his business. He like, look here, bruh, you been in Mexico for 6 months having your little play dates with Loco and all this stuff, like, don't come back here trying to run stuff. And right after he said this, Meech and Terry started squabbling up and they got into a fight. And one thing that did irritate me about this fight scene, bruh, is the fact that everybody just sat around and watched Meech and Terry fight, bruh. Like, they just sat there and watched Terry get his ass whooped by Meech. Like, Meech and Terry was fighting for a good 30 seconds. Everybody just sat there and watched Terry get his ass whooped by Meech, bruh. Like, they just sat there and didn't do nothing. Like, I ain't gonna front. Your boy Meech was low-key putting the hands on Terry. Meech was beating Terry ass to the point where Terry had to grab the knife. And he was about to stab Meech. He was about to poke Meech up in that goddamn restaurant. And in the words of Hoop,
What the happened in Mexico?
that's all I want to know, because Meech and Terry was bumping heads with each other throughout this episode, bruh. Like, they wasn't speaking to each other. They wasn't trying to look towards each other's direction. Like, they was really bumping heads in this episode. Like, I really want to know what the hell happened in Mexico, bruh. I really want to know, because it had to be something bad that happened in Mexico for Meech and Terry to be going at it with each other like this, bruh. It had to be something crazy that happened. And if I could take a guess, I believe Terry probably backdoored Meech and probably left his ass in Mexico, bruh. Terry probably got tired of Meech's BS in this episode and left his ass in Mexico. That's just my theory. But I do believe throughout the season, we're going to see flashbacks of Meech and Terry in Mexico and the events that took place with Meech and Terry and Loco out in Mexico. And see the events that took place with Meech and Terry out in Mexico with Loco. We did get a flashback scene of them being in Mexico in this episode. We saw Meech get bit by a goddamn snake in this episode, which almost led to him dying in this episode. But Loco was able to find some man that does voodoo, and man did what he did, and he brought Meech back to life. And we didn't really see nothing else from the storyline in Mexico, but I do believe throughout season 4, we will see flashbacks of Meech and Terry out in Mexico and the events that took place while they was in Mexico, which led up to them falling out the way they did. Now, moving on to Marquisha. In this episode, we saw Marquisha start to put the plays in motion for her to get in the game, because in this episode, Marquisha revealed to Terry that she wants to get in the game now. And honestly, Marquisha got some nerve to pop up on Terry in this episode after not seeing him for the last 6 months, asking him for his goddamn help to get in the game. Like, don't get me wrong, Marquisha was making some valuable points about her being very reliable for Terry in this episode. Very valuable points. But Marquisha ain't seen Terry within the last 6 months, bruh. Like, come on now. It seemed like Marquisha only pops up when she needs something and got her hands out begging for something. And Terry shut her down in the first conversation that he had with her in this episode. He like, look, being in the game ain't just easy as what it seems. Like, you know what I'm saying? You gotta know how to play the game. There's certain things that you gotta know how to do when it comes to being in the game. Like, you gotta prove to the people that's in the game that you just not some pretty face, because that's what people gonna assume that you is, which Terry wasn't wrong about. He wasn't wrong about this at all. But I wouldn't have entertained this conversation with Marquisha if I was him. That's just me. I wouldn't have entertained that at all. So with Marquisha not being able to get what she wanted from Terry, she decided to go visit her husband Boom in this episode and see if he could help her out with getting into the game. And Boom is a better man than me, bruh. He a better man than me, because I would have told Marquisha to get the hell out of my face. I would have dismissed Marquisha, bruh. How the hell you gonna come in here asking me for something when you messing with my enemies? Like, make that make sense. Like, I don't care if you and Terry ain't been with each other for the last 6 months. Like, you did what you did, bruh. Like, that just can't be water under the bridge. Like, I understand that they got kids and everything like that, but 2 wrongs don't make it right, bruh. Somebody from Boom's crew shot at Marquisha and Terry even though he didn't send that hit, and Marquisha turned her back on her husband. Like, both of them is wrong if you ask me. But Marquisha asks Boom if a character by the name of Isaac Roberts is still holding on to some of his chips, and if so, then she could go talk to one of his side chicks by the name of Kiki that works at the courthouse to see if Kiki could give Marquisha the whereabouts to Isaac Roberts' location. And with Boom giving Marquisha the approval to do this, Marquisha went to the courthouse in this episode to meet up with Kiki, and Kiki gave her the whereabouts to Isaac Roberts' location, which is in South Carolina. And Marquisha revealed this to Terry when she came back to his house towards the end of the episode to have a conversation with him about him wanting to expand BMF into different states and put a half a ton in each state. And I gotta take a moment to shout out your boy Terry for what he did in this episode by dismissing Marquisha as well, because Marquisha really thought she would just go spend a night and kick it with Terry after telling Terry that she need to go kick it with some real niggas and all this stuff. Like, shout out to Terry for dismissing Marquisha and letting it be known to her that this is strictly business and he wants to be respectful. But I am expecting this Isaac Roberts character to pop up in this next upcoming episode. I do believe in episode 2, Marquisha is going to help make the introduction between Isaac Roberts and Terry in that episode. And I believe with the help of Marquisha helping Terry make this introduction to Isaac Roberts, I do believe Terry is going to secure a business deal with Isaac Roberts and expand the BMF organization out in South Carolina with the help of Isaac Roberts as well as Marquisha. Now, before I end this video off, there's one more thing I gotta talk about. I gotta talk about your boy Detective Brian, because we found out in this episode that Detective Brian has relocated to Atlanta. Detective Brian no longer lives in Detroit, and he now lives in Atlanta, and he goes by the alias name of Mark. We saw Mark, aka Detective Brian, at an intervention meeting in this episode, grieving the loss of his son with the rest of the fathers at the intervention that lost their sons as well. And one of the fathers that was at this intervention grieving the loss of their sons is Milton Father. And for those who don't know who Milton Father is, let me give y'all a backstory real quick. So in season 3, Meech had issues with this dude by the name of Remy Ramson, and Remy Ramson and his crew ran the Techwood projects, and Remy used to look out for the kids at Techwood by providing them food, snacks, and etc. And during the shootout that took place last season in episode 5 between BMF, Remy Ramson and his crew, and the MKs, which was led by Glock, one of the little kids by the name of Milton got caught in the crossfire and he got shot. And Milton's father blamed Remy for this. He blamed Remy for his son's death. So in this episode, we saw him at this intervention grieving the loss of his son with Detective Brian. And with Detective Brian being at this intervention, I'm pretty sure Detective Brian and Milton's father is going to make a connection with each other at some point before season 4 is over with. I'm definitely expecting Detective Brian and Milton's father to be kicking it with each other throughout season 4, bruh. I'm definitely expecting that to happen. And with Detective Brian being out in Atlanta, I'm already knowing Detective Brian big head ass gonna be on the same type of time that he been on throughout the last 3 seasons of BMF and try to apprehend Meech. We all know this, so this ain't nothing expected. I'm predicting that this is what Detective Brian is gonna be on throughout season 4, and I can't wait to see what's next for Detective Brian now that he has decided to relocate to Atlanta. But other than that, I ain't got too much else to say. If you made it to the end of this video and you like the video that I uploaded and created, hit that like button to help this video get recommended across the algorithm. Hit the post bell notification button to support the channel and to get updated on all content I post on my channel. And leave any of your thoughts and comments that you have that you want to leave down below in the comment section. I'm going to get at y'all later. Much love to y'all. Much love to everybody that's been rocking with me and supporting the channel. I appreciate y'all. Y'all take care. Y'all be safe. And God bless.